And let a few people jump on here and make sure everybody can hear us okay. You can see the nice beachy colors here. And that street over is?
That's Jefferson.
Jefferson.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, everybody. Welcome to Sunday morning. A little bit of a fog here on Fort Myers Beach. We have a little bonus walk around today with Mark from Idyl Construction, but we are on Mid-Island Boulevard. Drive, Mid-Island Drive. And as it gets a little more light out, the fog is lifting. This morning, driving on Alico, I couldn't even see the traffic lights this morning. It was so foggy. But say hello to Mark from Idyl Construction.
Good morning.
And Mark, tell everybody your role and about your company.
So, first, I want to say, I want to thank Ed for coming out, because here we are. Most of you will see this later on, but this is the Sunday morning after daylight savings time. So Ed woke up at probably the equivalent of 5 o'clock in the morning to come out here and do this with us. And I can't say enough Ed's passion for Fort Myers Beach, and I appreciate that. I appreciate what you do. So yeah, Mark Reidenbush, owner of Idyl Construction. We're trying to be a builder out here on the island. We've got a few homes finished. We've got a lot in the pipeline, but we've just opened our new model here at 121 Mid-Island Drive, and I asked Ed to come out. He picked the time and date.
We were actually, if I could just rewind a little bit, the original plan was to do it yesterday, but then I realized that was a dumb idea because it was crazy yesterday on the beach. So it's a little bit calmer today. And when you say you're trying to be a builder on the beach, it's somewhat modest because you've got houses
built
popping
that
up
one,
everywhere.
built that one. We've got 3 more in the neighborhood we're doing. We've got about 15 or 20 that we've got in various stages of permitting or design. Really excited about last week we got our first DEP permit for a house on the beach here on the island up in the north end. The Farrells, wonderful people, finally are going to get their home put back together. 3 more DEP permits in the works.
Now explain why you're saying DEP permits, because they're the old cottage.
Right. So these
houses.
are the old cottage lots that go back to the pink shell era. And when I think back to Ed and I, our first walkthrough at our first set over here a year and a quarter ago, and you read back into those comments, so many people were talking about they're going to blow away in a storm and it's not the right answer for the beach. But when you go through the design process and you get the DEP permits, and it becomes the proof of concept for, yes, you can do these on the beach. And in fact, several of these houses went through Idyl and Helene and Milton. And so we've done hurricanes out here since then as well. And these houses survived fantastically. But yeah, we're really excited about this model. You can't miss it if you drive down the beach. It's this bright, wonderful shade of purple.
Yep. Very beachy vibe color.
Yeah.
And the house behind it is, who's the owner of
that
house?
So that was Leslie, and she now has that on the Airbnb market and booked, as far as I know, for a while. Fran and Marcos, some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. They owned a little house here, a little rental house, pre-Ian. Like the entire block got blown away. We worked with them to put this together. I remember when Fran reached out to me and said, Mark, I want to do it in this purple color. And I will tell you that, and anybody that knows me, purple is one of my least favorite colors. But I looked at the color and I looked at the neighborhood and I said, absolutely, Fran.
It's not a hard purple.
It's not a hard purple. It is a pastel purple. I've forgotten the name of it, but it's fun. And I think that, particularly this piece of the island, and I want the whole island to really be this bright colors and live. And so our business model with this is that they will ultimately put this in the Airbnb market or the VRBO market, but we've leased it from them for 2025. So we'll pay the rent to support their absorption into this. And then they'll have it listed on VRBO so that come January next year, as we move out, they will have had some time to book some reservations. So it really works out for everybody. And it gives us an opportunity to have a place here in the island to meet residents, meet our neighbors, talk about the process of modular homes, talk about the process of rebuilding. Anybody that knows me, we've turned our entire business to this modular because it allows us to build faster and get the same ultimate finished product.
Yep. And you did the same business model for the house on Jefferson.
Yep.
You rented it out for 2024 so you could show it off, and now it's on the market for
rentals. Yeah. And I imagine we'll do it again in 2026. We'll find the right customer, the right lot, the right location, and it allows us to help support the absorption of these rentals and help them cash flow the early years.
Folks, again, if you're just popping on, we're on Mid-Island Drive, and Mark, before we go in the house here, we're going to go walk around the house, but what do we got here?
So this is another one, Bob and Jan, out of the Midwest. Again, same scenario. I remember meeting them weeks after the storm, before the demo, where there was debris all over the place, and they were just picking through their house. And it's like, yeah, let's get you rebuilt. That's a 4-bedroom house. It will be a part-time rental and part-time of their own. This is the one, if we walk over here just a little bit, where they will have their own in-house pickleball court.
Oh, okay.
So we
great.
poured that the other day, and it's the extension of the driveway. And it hasn't been painted out yet, but we've got a full regulation pickleball court.
That's neat.
In their side yard.
I imagine we're going to see, if people have the property, we're going to see a little more of that. Because people
right.
love that. And they're hard to find a court available.
They're hard to find a court, so you guys need to make friends with Bob and Jan. They're really
So
nice people,
practice.
and you can come over and practice.
Now you got a lot here with your sign on it.
Yeah, we've got. This is another one. They're in design, and then actually, if you look back here, behind Bob and Jan, where you can see the pool over there.
Yes.
We've got another one in design over there.
That's a different road?
That is on Connecticut.
Okay.
And then over where the orange house is, we've got another one that's in permit, and actually we hope to start that one in a month.
So on the beach side,
Yep,
or on the
beach side.
So do you need a DEP permit over there too?
Yeah.
Well, is it because it's on the beach?
So yeah, anything within, and pretty much anything from the beach road over, you've got another layer of permitting and another layer of regulation. So not only do you have the town's rules and the state's rules and the building code, but then the Department of Environmental Protection has another set of rules that govern that. And primarily it's turtle lighting is one of the biggest issues there. Coming out onto the island this morning, you look at the turtle lights and the various different turtle lights, and you see the ones that aren't using them and that sort of thing. And it's not turtle season yet, it's coming up, but protecting the island protecting the turtles from the island, I think is a worthy thing. We talk about traffic though. This morning at 6 a.m.,
no traffic at all. Yeah.
So if you want to time your trip to Fort Myers Beach, come Sunday mornings at 6.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. When you came down, did you come from Bonita?
I come up from the.
So did
Bonita.
you see the new lights yet? Were the new lights on Estero Boulevard turned on?
I did notice that. Yes.
Did they look purple or red, or how did they look to you?
They were a good orange.
I mean, it was hard to tell this morning too because of the fog.
Because it was foggy. But you look at the ones at 7-Eleven, which are deep red, and then some others that are out there that are a light yellow and that sort of thing. And it made me think that there's a science to this turtle lighting stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Well, before we go in, you mentioned the DEP permits. Is that process any easier? I mean, when I think about the DEP process, I think about the pier and how long the county is going through that nightmare to get the pier rebuilt. Is it easier for a residential?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And I do think, I've been very vocal. I think at the town level and at DEP level, there's a tremendous amount of support for the single-family residence owner and getting them rebuilt. I think there's an entirely different textbook, if you will, when we talk about the commercial projects and the pier and that sort of thing. But in every interaction I've had with the town, the county, DEP, the permitting for single-family homes for owners to rebuild are as easy as they can be. Practically.
Right.
Yeah.
Start to finish, how long does it take somebody to work with you? You sign a deal, you say, I want Mark to build me a house on my lot on Fort Myers Beach. Start to finish, when are they in?
It's a year or less. If you come in and you use one of the plans we've used before, it can be about 9 months. If you want to go through the custom process and create a custom home of your own, then it'll take about a year.
Okay. And part of your process as far as inspections go, do you use the town or do you use a third-party inspector, because people have gotten into...
Yeah, we do use the third-party inspectors, and we use the third-party inspectors because there is some time savings there, and it allows us, for example, I can ask my private provider to come do an inspection on a Saturday or even a Sunday if I need one, and it gives us the flexibility to move faster. And I even had some conversations back and forth with the mayor on it. I don't think there's anything wrong with the private provider.
Because he kind of came out against it. He almost
He
wants
initially
it to be abolished.
did, yeah. But I think at the end of the day, there will always be bad actors, but you pick the right guys.
Yeah.
You police the private providers, and if some of those guys that are phoning in inspections, they shouldn't be allowed to practice.
Or by affidavit.
Yeah, right. But the people we use have roots on the island.
Yeah.
Mark, the plan reviewer, used to work at town staff.
Okay.
So he was the deputy building official
Okay.
before the storm, and so he knows everybody in the
Yeah,
island.
that helps.
Kara, that we use for some of our permit
Kara Stewart,
expediting,
yep.
she worked at the town. The people that we've surrounded ourselves with are locals, just like we are.
And it's your reputation, really. It's going to flow right back up. People are going to call you and say, what the hell?
Yeah, and we stay clear of that.
Cool.
And the other piece of this is, I think that works with the private provider is, because of the way our houses come together, they come together fast. I mean, from foundation to move in is less than 6 months. And so in order to do that and keep that momentum, we have to have a good local team that comes around.
And these houses, tell us about the building process, where it's done, how it...
Why don't we go inside
okay.
first, and then we'll do some of that.
So we are on the ground level. These are obviously have to be breakaway walls, or do
Well,
they
it's
not?
not breakaway, but flood resistant. So when you look here, everything here, this is stucco on concrete block. So there's no wood framing, there's nothing down here, and the acoustics are bad here, so we won't spend much time here. But you've got flood vents that you see here that let the flood waters in or out, but seal otherwise.
Is that something that every house has to have now?
When it's in the flood zone, everything on the island will have some of these flood zones, flood vents, which allow the flood water to come in. But then because everything is concrete and the doors are plastic or fiberglass, this is flood proof. So this might get some flood water in it, you mop it out, you hose it out, you close it up, and it's done.
When you have storm surge like we've had, what happens to these doors? Will they break?
No, so that's what this does. So this will let the water flow in. So these have a little float switch on them, and they open up. When the flood waters come, they will pop open and allow water to come in, and then allow the water to flow back out, so that you don't have the pressure to crunch the windows in or crunch
That's
the
what
doors
happened
in.
with the old houses. They didn't have them.
Yeah,
or they were
exactly.
just
And then if the water can't come in, then it's going to break the window to come in.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And what is this room going to be used for?
So this is just building entry. This is just foyer. But what it does is it gives us a way to come out of the house into the garage, come out of the house into the back lanai.
They're going to be putting a pool in, or they don't know yet? Or
Yeah, because of the liability in Airbnb and the demographic of a lot of our Airbnb buyers, they didn't feel the need for a pool. So
very close to the beach. I mean, you can walk right across the street here.
Your beach is right there. So we'll have some patio furniture out here ultimately, and maybe some
or a pickleball court.
A little small for pickleball court on this one. Yeah. So
right.
we'll go on up the stairs.
And is this going to be an elevator?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We're putting elevators in more than half of the houses.
Is there a reason for that elevator? Is it just required, or they like it, or convenient?
It's not required. I think it goes to our demographics of the renters, and it goes to the demographic of our owners. A 3-story house, I don't mind an elevator, especially when it comes time to move furniture in and that sort of thing. So, so this is a typical house. If you guys those have been watching, yes, that's the same furniture as the last model. But that's okay. We try to keep it efficient. So
right, just for those of you that are joining late, the Idyl is going to use this as a model house, so that when they move in, they might keep the furniture, or they might get their own.
Right, exactly. But so what we're doing here is this, and we'll go back there in the back here in a minute. This is also the office that we'll use for doing your selections, for doing your architecture meetings, your design meetings. So it gives us a hub on the island to meet with people and to go through the modular process. So back to how they're built. Mm-hmm. Yeah. After Ian, I realized that we couldn't do it the conventional way and really make any substantial improvement on the island. The island needs hundreds of homes, mm-hmm. and the workforce is just not here. The cost to build it is not here. So we partnered with a modular home manufacturer, Affinity Homes, out of Lakeland, Georgia. And don't think of modular as a product, think of it as a process. Essentially, we've got a factory up there where real carpenters and real plumbers and real electricians and real drywall guys put houses together using the same tools, the same means and methods as we would in a conventional on-site build, but they do it in a factory environment where it's much more efficient, and they can do these houses a lot faster. And essentially all we have to do is take any architectural design, any home design you want, and then be able to carve it up into sections that are small enough to be able to run down the road. And then a few other kind of structural changes might happen, but we can take almost any floor plan that any customer wants and divide it up into sections and turn it into modular. Mm-hmm. When we do that, in the factory, they can build this house from start to finish in just about 21 days, as opposed to 6 months to a year on site. And then it comes down to...
And you're never dealing with the weather inside.
Never dealing with the weather. Yeah, and then, the other thing that comes to mind, you hear about, everybody's heard about the tariffs and what is that going to do to the cost of construction, and labor availability with the immigration things. At the factory, because they buy not just for my house, but for the month's production or the year's production, they're buying in much larger bulk, and so they're getting a better price for materials, so that even if we see tariffs, it won't affect what we're doing. And then the labor force up there, because it is a steady state labor force. These guys, 150, 200 people show up at that factory every day, and it's the best job in that part of Georgia. Their labor efficiency is not only cheaper, but they get more done every day than when we do it this way. And so it became almost a no-brainer for us to figure out how can we take that, leverage that efficiency and bring it down here and put it on the island. And, it wasn't easy at first. We had a lot of pushback. I know that...
Why did you have pushback?
Well, I think people didn't understand the product.
Yeah, they think modular of this gigantic house that's falling off the trailer, one level, going down the highway, with the red flag sticking out the back.
Right, exactly. And they think trailers,
yes.
And they think mobile homes. And it's not. It's a completely different product. It is the same Florida building code. It is the same means and methods. It's the same lumber. It's the same nails. It's just done in a better fashion. But anytime you try to bring something new into a community, as humans, we don't love change. If it's unfamiliar, the first response is no. So it took a little while. I mean, it took us several builds to where we got people to really begin to appreciate it. And that's one of the reasons why we have the model is if you're not familiar with the product, before you say, no, it isn't what I want, or it's not the quality I need and that sort of thing, we've got a place where we can bring you in, we can sit you down, we can walk you through the house, we can slam the doors and open the cabinets and that sort of thing, so that people can see that the product is the same. And it's just a better way to...
How many sections of these two houses do we have? 2 or 3?
So this house happens to be what we'll call a 4-box.
Okay.
So this is 2 sections here and 2 sections above. But I was going through it with the manufacturer the other day. We have 1-box, 2-box, 3-box, 4-box, 5-box, 6-box, and 7-box houses either in build or in design right now. So just the Lego set keeps getting bigger. And so, and in fact, the 7-box, if you looked at it, you would say there's no way that that's going to be a modular home.
Gotcha.
But if all you have to do is get your design done and then slice it up into the right pieces.
So how many trips down from Georgia did this house take?
4.
Okay.
Yep.
And how many square feet?
It's about 1,800 square feet.
Okay.
It's 3 bedroom, 2 bath. I've got a master suite that is the whole top floor, two guest suites down here, 1 bathroom up and down.
And quite the view of Fort Myers Beach from Mid-Island Drive. Got a nice outside here, and I mean, probably going to have a house or two here.
Yeah,
but
there will be
still
a couple houses there. They will have a
great
view out
Yeah.
there for a long time. It's a 3-story house, so as you get up above, we'll go upstairs
Yeah.
before we end here. As we go up, there's a great view from up there as well.
This road is coming along nicely. I mean, whole row of beautiful houses across the street.
And
there.
it's so great to see part of the neighborhood coming together. And I think we're going to see some more of that. I mentioned earlier, we've got 3 or 4 up in the cottage lots up in the north end. Really excited about those.
Yeah, that property's been empty for quite a while now. So
Yeah.
is that the one that has one house on it? Is that the lot I'm thinking of, or is it completely bare?
So they're completely bare. All the demo's been done. It's right next. The first one will be right next to the Best Western, or just about a block down from the Best Western.
By the way, I ran into Mark yesterday at the Shrimp Festival, and it's any day still for the Best Western, any day.
Yeah. So here you get that's the money shot.
What's your guess on what this will rent for the owners for a week or a day or
in season? It's over 10,000
for a week.
Yeah. Oh no, for a month. They're doing monthly rentals.
Monthly
here.
rental.
But yeah, over 10 grand a month in season, and then probably 4,500, 5,000 in off season.
And you can fit how many? I mean, just
so
a
you
couple
could
families.
split that with 2 families.
Yeah.
Or a family with grandkids.
Man, what a nice day again on the beach. Up very high here. Oh boy, it's high. Is the greenhouse being rented right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Looks
booked.
active?
It's active. It's booked. I think they're booked through season.
Nice.
Yeah. And the way we do this, it gives them because of our lease, it gives them some time to build rentals. And so this place, just as getting near to sign off, we are here, open house every day but Thursdays and Saturdays from 10 to 4. Mm-hmm. You can come in and just talk to us about your lot or your plans, or if you don't have any, we're working with all the island realtors out here as well.
Last time we were together was with Alex King,
Yep,
but you got Jorge and
we're working with all the rest of them. I think your passion to come out here this morning, mine, Alex's, a lot of those guys, I think we all just want to see this island back to where it was. We want to see the small businesses back. We want to see the rest of the demolition done. If we can get the rest of the old beat-up houses down and turn the vacant lots into just clean vacant lots,
look a lot nicer.
Yeah, the island has so much potential, and it's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no doubt that it's going to be an amazing place on the other side, and as you can see on this street and in these neighborhoods, I mean, a new house down there on the beach, and a new house down there on the beach. These two over here on your right are new on the beach.
Here?
Yeah, I mean those are post-Ian houses, not mine, but post-Ian houses, and so we're going to have 3 out of 4 houses on the island 10 years from now are going to be brand new houses, and how cool is that going to be?
Yeah. Let's. I saw a little bit of the bathroom, but it looked pretty cool.
Yeah. The tile that Fran picked was really, really cool.
Now, no bath. People are doing away with their bathtubs.
Yeah, nobody uses bathtubs anymore. I think we have one downstairs, and one bathtub in a house is enough. But yeah, this looks like you're underwater or something.
Yeah.
It's just really cool stuff. And
So did Fran picked out all the colors,
Yeah.
or is this
Yeah.
part of
No,
nice big closet?
we let the customers pick the colors and pick the fixtures. You get cool barn doors and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. But she did an amazing job. This has been really
this
fun.
is for
to do.
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
Let's
we'll go on back downstairs and we'll finish up where we started.
What do you? I mean, do you tell what the cost is? I mean, can you give people that are watching kind of an idea?
Certainly that is that's the first question we get, and there's no doubt, and there isn't one answer. So, for example, building one on the beach in the DEP, that's one whole set of rules. When we look at the stuff like back on San Carlos Island, and we're doing some houses out there, and some of the old trailer parks, if you will, those can't support the kind of price point that, say, this would. So we are specifically developing some models for neighborhoods like Port Carlos Cove and some of the other trailer park areas, where we're getting these things down into the 300, 350 an air conditioned square foot. It kind of creates the baseline, simple house, straightforward. And then I would tell you that the average is probably in the 400 per square foot. And then when you get out onto the beach, it can get more than that.
Sure.
You know, we can spend 600, 650 out on the beach. But when you think about it, these houses are going to be here for generations. These houses are going to be here for the next 100 years. And housing never gets less expensive. That needle will continue to move forward. So the faster people can get rebuilt, the more appreciation that they'll get in the future, and the lower the cost. You know, the price of
Being
things
able to
never
rent
went
them out for $10,000 a month is
doesn't
nice,
hurt,
nice
right?
helper there.
Exactly, yeah. And I think the overall on the island, the rules are pretty good about rentals.
Yeah.
I think this is actually a weekly rental neighborhood. So if you get with one of the property managers and get into one of those programs, yeah, you can probably generate even more revenue on the weekly market.
Mark, what was your connection? You got a huge connection out of Fort Myers Beach, but what connected you to the beach to want to do what you're doing?
So,
Your houses are popping up everywhere.
I've been on this. So I moved to Southwest Florida over 30 years ago. And I lived on the island back in the early 2000s. My first houses that we built out here, we started out here with little remodels on the beach. 2001, I think, was our first beachfront remodel. Grew into several of those, built a couple of new houses. The biggest project I ever did on the island was the boat barn at Snookbite Marina. And in fact, before Ian, I ran another little business out there in addition to the construction company. So yeah, Fort Myers Beach has been part of my neighborhood going back to 2001 or so. And really after Ian, it did become personal. It became, when you see the amount of destruction, the amount of damage out here, it really seemed like, man, I gotta go and
but back then too, you weren't yet with Affinity. You found them somehow.
Right. We were a conventional builder. We were doing it the hard way, if you will, before that. And but I realized that was doing it the hard way. And why do you do it the hard way if you can take 2/3 of the house and have somebody do it for you outside of the market with other labor issues? And then it just arrives.
Yeah.
And so
we'll never fall down, Mark.
And we'll never fall down, right. And they will. They will be here for decades. So there's no reason this house shouldn't be standing here still 100 years from now.
Yeah. So for people that are watching and they can get on their computer and kind of look around, snoop around on your website or find other examples.
Google Idyl Construction or Affinity Building Systems. Or message us or call us and we'll direct you there. And we have a process that we want to put people into. I call it the journey, the modular home journey. And we've scripted this so that we bring you in and we have some early conversations about what is the mission of your house and what are you planning on doing with it. and then it goes from that into design, and then through permitting, and then into construction. And we script it so that we can track them. And our plan for 2025 is 25 homes, one every 2 weeks. We're almost on pace for that already, and we've got the backlog to do most of that. And then probably as we get into 2026 and beyond, maybe more than 25 homes a week, 25 homes a year. There's the demand for it.
And folks, this is going to be a model. It's a Mid-Island Drive, so you can also call Mark at what phone number?
239-947-7030.
I think it's on the front of our page right now, and you can come and see the house here on Mid-Island Drive, and you can pick out. I noticed in here.
Oh yeah,
you have,
we'll go back there real quick.
some,
Our selection studio. We've got some
Morning.
walk-in guests this morning.
You can pick out all of the materials here, and
Right, this is where we talk about your cabinets and your countertops and your pavers and your colors and that sort of thing. So it's really an on-island resource to be able to do, take you all the way through the design process.
cool. Let's take a walk down and out by the front.
Yep.
And we'll wrap it up out on the nice pavers you got out there. How big is this lot, Mark? Entire lot.
She's a 75 by 100 deep, 75 wide. And that's one of the cool parts of this neighborhood is they are larger lots. But we have answers for the small lots too. We've got some on the little parallelogram lots, and we talked about the cottage lots up on the north end. So.
Anything else you want people to know about Idyl Construction or the building process? Or
It's not as hard as a lot of people make it out to be. I think the building process should be fun. It should be reinforcing. You see a lot of people complaining about how hard it is to permit and that sort of thing, and it really just isn't our experience. It isn't our truth. It can be fun, enjoyable. The set days, and Ed, you've been out for the set days, are the funnest days in the whole process, and so yeah, we're making building fun again.
all right, Mark, thanks a lot. Mark from Idyl
Good to meet
Construction.
everybody.
And folks, we will be at Wahoo Willie's with the mayor and the town manager at 10 o'clock. So come on out early. Remember, Old San Carlos is closed from SOB to Bayside Park. So come down early. You can pull behind Bayside Park and get behind Wahoo Willie's if you go down Crescent and around that way. So we'll see you at 10 o'clock at Wahoo Willie's. Thanks to Mark and thanks to Idyl Construction.